What's up, everybody? Eric here. I want to talk very briefly about this update we had today. I wish this would have came out yesterday. We would have talked about it during the Nerdcast. But we hear about it today, so here is a quick video talking about it. We'll go in more detail on the Thursday stream. So if you want to talk more and hear more about this, definitely check us out Thursday around 11 p.m. Eastern time. So this is coming from Luis Fernando, someone I've been following on Twitter for a while, who does a lot of great movie updates and is talking about the potential for Warner Brothers Discovery being sold off in full or in parts to different companies, which is, in my opinion, a pretty big disaster. I feel like this is like worst case scenario. I want to talk about how we got there, all the signs that we saw along the way, some of the drama about Superman. I've seen some people talk about Superman here, but let's read what Luis says here. He goes, now that the theater play is finally over and the controversy, WBD CEO David Zaslav opens up what has been his end game all along. And I agree with that. I think this has been the goal from the beginning, and the signs were there. More from me on that in a second. Warner Brothers Discovery is officially up for sale, with an official announcement made today by the company inviting potential buyers to make their offers for partial or whole or the whole company. For me, the signs were always there because of the tax write-downs, the desire to make the company profitable at all costs, selling off assets, getting rid of IP, things like that. These were all signs that he had no intention to make the company great based on what the company is, which was the media, the IPs, things like that. He wanted to get rid of those things and offload them to streamline the company to inflate the value of the company, which is what he's done. Now, I'm not talking about the successful stuff we've had this year in terms of film. We've had a really, really great year for film, okay? So they're not taking anything away from them in that department. But everything that he's done from a business perspective, outside of the creative stuff, has been to streamline the company to make it more profitable for investors or buyers. Louise goes on to say, but also promoting intention for sale so openly also shows that he is not getting the juicy offers he is probably waiting for since 2024, and that the offer he allegedly received from Paramount was very likely underwhelming or never actually happened. That's really interesting. I never thought about that because it wasn't really a public thing. So it is possible that it was made up, I suppose. But as far as it like not being juicy and wanting more money, I would say that's probably accurate. And really interesting perspective from Louise there. Whatever it is, what a sad end for the studio that is literally having its best year ever at the box office. What a timing and what a way to reward all the people who are trying to turn this company around. Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about, oh, but I thought Superman was a hit. I thought they were doing so well. Yeah, they were. They did have a great summer, and the year's not over yet. So yeah, we're looking at a company that is finally in the movie industry making that money they should have been making, heading in the right direction. And it was all for naught because David Zaslav just wanted a big paycheck and a nice little security blanket leaving the company here. Because I don't think there's any chance he would stay in charge of it. I don't see that at all. I said from day one, people thinking Zaslav to be the savior weren't reading the room and would miss Jason Kilar dearly because Kilar genuinely wanted to make Warner Media a giant and an alternative to Netflix and wasn't there just to flip it, which is pretty obvious. That's what David Zaslav wanted to do here. Well, that's the greatest studio promised by him you believed in, ending up shopping around to be bought by lesser companies. That's one of those times when it pains me to be proven right. Oh, well, I never thought I'd see WB to be the 20th Century Fox in my lifetime until Zaslav came around. What a disgrace to the industry, for exhibitors and for consumers. Yeah, this isn't good for anyone except for people who are going to be getting money from this. Creative people are going to get fucked over by this. All the people in the industry who aren't like stars, people that work on sets, whether it be people that work in the service industry, somehow providing food, makeup, hair, just anyone working in that department, you're going to see a reduction of available jobs for them because of this. And we're just going to keep giving money to those already super rich people at the top who don't need the money. They're going to keep getting it and they don't need it. So what Zaslav did is he sort of like primed the pig here. Like he really did sort of set it up. So from the beginning, I truly feel that Louise is onto something here. I think from the beginning, Zaslav wanted this to be a way for him to sell Warner Brothers Discovery, a way for him to put it out there for people to want it, right? By making it look profitable, without any integrity whatsoever to the art that made the studio great in the first place. Now, what are the worst case scenarios here? People are talking about Disney. I don't think Disney's going to buy Warner Brothers. I don't think that's going to happen. They got 20th Century Fox. they're not necessarily in the best places with the governments. I don't know if they'd be allowed to even go after Warner Brothers, to be honest. Now, the reason why Paramount seemed more likely is because it seems like the government likes them, and so they're going to give them an opportunity to buy Warner Brothers. But I mean, with all the bad press about them turning away Paramount, a couple weeks ago, whenever that was, I don't know if they would care anymore either. Then you have places like Universal, and I don't know about them. Netflix would be worst case scenario. I'm not like an anti-Netflix person. Like, there's lots of things on Netflix that I like, but I don't think of Netflix as a movie studio, like making movies to go out in theaters, because they make more money putting it out on streaming. And we're really lucky the things that we have been getting once in a blue moon from them, like this upcoming Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie that might come out in some limited capacity. But that's what we would see with Warner Brothers. We'd see a lot of that Warner Brothers stuff just funneled into Netflix, and we wouldn't see those things going to theaters. So this would be, I cannot stress enough how bad it would be if Netflix got Warner Brothers. I cannot stress how bad that would be. We would see studios shuttering down, like the smaller studios within Warner Brothers shuttering down to save cost, and we would see less things going out to theaters. So if you think theaters right now have a lack of variety in terms of films, it would be even worse if we took one of the major players out of this and they didn't have the opportunity to put out things like Sinners. That would be a big fucking problem for them. So then it would pretty much be like Disney would just rule cinema at that point, with the other smaller studios sort of like picking up the crumbs. Like, I know you guys don't believe this, but Disney would be the ruler, because they were right at the neck of Warner Brothers this year, on a year when Warner Brothers had a great year and Disney had a few fumbles. They were still at the neck of Warner Brothers, which means if Warner Brothers goes away to something like Netflix, it would take them out of the running for the theater experience, and Disney would just rule the movie theaters. So if you're somebody who is tired of Disney stuff, I cannot stress enough how bad this would be if that's the kind of stuff you're not into. Warner Brothers is the largest competitor to Disney in terms of films, the largest one. All the other ones kind of have a hit here and there, but Warner Brothers is the one that was like neck to neck with them, especially this year. So seeing Warner Brothers go away from the theater experience completely would be a massive, massive, massive problem. I don't think people understand how bad that is. I don't want to see them owned by Paramount either. But if I had to pick between Paramount and Netflix, I would go with Paramount, because it's the lesser of two evils. In an ideal world, Warner Brothers wouldn't be owned by anybody else. They would just be Warner Brothers. But this is where we are. Now, we don't know if anybody's going to step up and make an offer that makes sense to them. Or, look, this is my prediction. I think that Warner Brothers Discovery will be sold off in chunks. I think we're going to see either an IP dump or a categorical dump. Like, they might sell off all of their Food Network stuff somewhere. They might sell off all of their, DC stuff somewhere. This might be where it goes, right? That might be the situation. This raises some pretty interesting questions about the DCU. We just talked about that last night, and things that have not been greenlit yet. It raises a lot of questions about that, and this is going to give us something to talk about on Thursday. I think this will probably be one of the big discussions, is what this means for the DCU and cinema as a whole, and I'm pretty sure the panel will have a lot to say about it. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you hit subscribe, become part of the channel here, turn on your notifications. We do enjoy the podcasting on Mondays and Thursdays. We get to talk about a lot of stuff, and you guys are always welcome to come in and interact with us and be a part of that show. So definitely do that. And leave me your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments below. How do you feel about all of this? I'm very curious to see what everybody thinks, and we'll see you in the next video.